Beneath the towering Atlas Mountains, vast deserts and windswept plains of Morocco, a quiet architectural mystery challenges every timeline and assumption we have long accepted. Here, there are more than mere ruins. There are giant stone circles, lost cities, rock-hewn fortresses, and traces of an ancient civilization that seem to have more purposeful, more engaged, much more than their isolated location allows. Strangely enough, the foundations of these structures do not match the civilization that is believed to have built them. Their arrangement does not follow any logic or intention recorded in the surviving chronicles. Their origins continually elude the reach of mainstream archaeology, as if an important chapter. The past of mankind was written here and then quietly erased from the historical record. This raises haunting core questions. Who built these great structures before history began? Was there a secret knowledge that spread across these lands long before empires and writing? And why do these distant places echo each other, as if recalling a forgotten world? As you venture deep into the tranquil Wunala Valley, you will come across a sight that will take your breath away. Qisar Ait Ben Haddou. At first glance, this impressive architectural complex looks as if grown from the arid desert itself. The sturdy clay towers and fortified walls are not mere constructions, but they have the appearance of architectural biology sleeping peacefully under the African sun. But don't let the familiar Qisar shape fool you. Its origins are much more complex and profound than meets the eye. Interwoven history. Traces of time. Ait Ben Haddou is not only a fortress, but also a living witness for the layers of history. Imagine this place was once an important stopover for merchants, pre-Aharan caravans, who paved the way for the great trans-Saharan trade routes. Later, powerful dynasties fortified this important route. Archaeologists don't just look at the outward appearance, they dig into the subtle variations in clay composition. The wayward, bonding unique, and the changes in courtyard arrangement through the ages to decipher the historical story. The earliest evidence, such as settlement fragments and broken pottery, even suggests that a community existed here before the Qisar officially took on the name of a fortified fortress. The origin of Qisar coins. A hillside mystery. The most attractive part of Ait Ben Haddou lies in the mystery of the origin of Qisar coins. An attractive hypothesis suggests that the present Qisar was built on the foundations of an earlier, less formal and structured community, which had gathered near a strategic observation point. Why this position? This is a strategic genius of ancestors. Natural defensive height. Great! However, it is the small details that raise the big questions from deep niche with vague purpose, toenail groove marks. The south has a different direction. Furthermore, homogeneity of brick materials. In some areas, it suggests a coordinated building efforts instead of gradual development. All this makes Ait Ben Haddou a masterpiece of adaptation and is one clay history book. Whether the development was gradual or whether there was a period of organised settlement that was erased remains a mystery without a complete answer. Volubilis mixed city and ancient memory. Volubilis is often revered as the splendid westernmost administrative centre of the Roman Empire, a symbol of order and grand architecture. But dig deeper, and Volubilis is more than just an outpost of Rome. Beneath its reputation are deeper foundations of the settlement model Mauritanian ancient pre-Roman. The city is a tapestry woven from many eras where history is not erased, but harmonise and reuse. Architectural struggle. Roman meets indigenous. The architectural contrasts at Volubilis tell a story of cultural negotiation. Arc de Triomphe. Towering and monumental public buildings are the clear statement of Rome. Yet interspersed with that geometric order, you can still silo wall and foundation traces sorted by unexpected angle, the resilient traces of vernacular planning. Volubilis is thus not a newly built city, but an integrated urban area, constantly adapting where Roman street networks sometimes had to change subtle movement to try harmonize with previously existing structures. Enduring identity voices of place. Excavations have shown that local life has not disappeared, traces of Heta. Local pottery and old construction pier holes found beneath Roman structures shows the cultural continuity strong. This leads to the assumption that the indigenous population has retained local influence, significantly maintaining some architectural styles and living habits even after the Roman conquest. Besides, harsh environment also leaves its mark. Irrigation canal must be modified and reoriented over generations to respond to change. The presence of flood sediments has reshaped living areas, and those unfinished project empty columns and abandoned foundations as a reminder of the uncertain in the long-term rhythm of the city. Anomalies, cultural negotiations. It's the smallest details where volubilis gets most interesting. There are recycled stone bring those faint pre-Roman carving hints of ancient temples that have been demolished. In particular, beneath the magnificent Roman mosaic floors, one finds old residential class with storage pite and fireplaces which are arranged in a climate social, residential logic local, not caring about the future street network. The appearance of unusual pottery refers to a network of contacts that was not yet fully integrated into the Roman economy. And inscription recording names is the blend between Roman and native is the clearest evidence of the war. Negotiating identity is taking place. Finally, this affirms that beneath the perfect Roman order there still lay the resilient fragments of an older model, the true soul of volubilis, Lixus, the eternal border between land and ocean. Lixus. It is more than a ruin. It is a living landscape majestically perched on a stone terrace above the Lucas River, facing the breadth of the Atlantic Ocean. Its structure is an impressive synthesis of many layers ambition history from the mark of man. That's it, native through the subtlety of the people, Punic to the enormity of the empire, by the hand. Pre-Punic whispers. Long before the powers from the sea recognized its strategic value, Lixus was a place of habitation. The earliest evidence of Heta and different pottery with Punic imports suggesting that this was once inhabited by indigenous people. This early settlement pattern was based on seasonal resource use fishing and river exploitation rather than fixed planning. This excellent strategic location was continually exploited, confirming that people had settled and understood this land long before it became a commercial centre. Industrial transformation. Punic and Roman imprints. Under the time Punic Lixus underwent a marked transformation with the arrival of their rectangular Roman evidence of industrialisation, primitive salt, and fish processing. Later, their organisation of Rome have superimposed massive architectural structures and large-scale industrial complexes on top of the old landscape. The most obvious evidence is garum factory fermented fish sauce with these deep ice chest impressive, showing the huge scale of production. However, even within this industrial order there exists anomaly. Garum crates have unusual size diversion channel, and isolated outbuildings all are flexible adaptations to local labour and environmental needs. Spiritual continuity also clearly present temple ruins often coincide with the sacred space before suggesting a combined ceremonial sites. Kilful. Those recycled slate carry faded inscription from earlier periods further complicate the architectural sequence of the city, environmental and cultural interaction. Lixus is a lasting testament to life, constant negotiation between land, water and culture. Archaeologists found countless traces of rubbish seeds and shell fragments, emphasizes the inseparable role of river and marine environments in the lives of residents. Environmental studies have shown the flow of the Lucas River over the centuries, forcing the city-to-settlement layout adjustment continuously. In short, Lixus is a place where layers of ambition shaped not only by the will of empires, but also by the uncertainty of the river and breadth of the ocean. Mzora Madzora. the mysterious stone circle in the hills of Upper Morocco. Nestled on a quiet hill in northern Morocco, Megastructures, it is not just an ancient stone structure, it is a mysterious circle, challenges our understanding of prehistory. This structure includes 6-7 standing stones majestic surrounding a low central burial mound. Unlike the ostentation of other monumental structures, the scale of Megastructures reflects a deep local traditions attached to land and ancestors. Challenging chronology and intentional asymmetry. Dating. Megastructures is a major challenge, placing it at late Neolithic or early Bronze Age, a cultural context that remains controversial. The structure is far from perfect. Archaeologists note the anomaly interesting. Some of the rocks appear to have been rebuilt, and the circle diameters are not completely uniform, indicating an intentional asymmetry or by time. Furthermore, finding evident stone sources from distant quarries demonstrates that the construction of Megastructures required a transportation and coordination efforts significant to the community at that time. Multi-episodic history. Developmental significance. The central mound is key to deciphering the evolution of the site. It contains a complex sedimentary sequence suggesting multiple periods of intermittent use. This leads to an important conclusion. Megastructures was not created in a single moment. It is a place that has been grown through generations, where its meaning and purpose have evolved along with changes in society. The unknown purpose between astronomy and territory. This stone circle has a clear look, almost astronomical, leading many to believe that it was used to monitor cosmic phenomena. However, this evidence remains not convincing completely. Secondary features, such as smaller rock clusters running in offset arcs, may be boundary or previous ritual features. So what is the alternative purpose? Megastructures could be the place territorial demarcation between tribes on a ritual gathering space important, or simply a memorial to ancestors. Megastructures. It is not a puzzle that requires a single solution, but a patient witness for the long cycles of human presence. Although there is no evidence of a lost civilization, these are minor differences in construction logic, and its strategic location shows that the impact has not been fully determined. Once shaped the prehistoric landscape of Morocco, one perfect vantage point to monitor seasonal water resources. Most importantly, this location is located in the valley, narrow into a natural corridor, one bottleneck, forcing all passers-by to reveal themselves. 8 Ben Haddou is not a forgotten work. It is a masterpiece of adaptation and one clay history book waiting for you to turn the unfinished pages. 8 Ben Haddou, a masterpiece of adaptive architecture and a timeless mystery. As you go deep into the tranquil Unila Valley, Qasr 8 Ben Haddou appear, as if it grow from the arid desert itself. Architectural biology sleeping giant. Don't let the familiar shape of the Qasr fool you. Its origins are much more complex. It was once an important stopping point for pre-Aharan caravans, which was later consolidated by dynasties, turning it into a living witness of history. Archaeologists have found the earliest evidence of habitation that could predate the fortress identity. And the most interesting hypothesis is that the Qasr was built on the foundations of a less formal community, which chose this location thanks to defensive height and the valley narrow into a natural corridor one bottleneck strategy. Although clearly influenced by Al-Maravid, and Head Qasr still contains things anomaly. The proportions of the tower and main gate are similar to those of more distant fortified villages to the east, suggesting the construction teams shared techniques over vast distances. The nature of the Qasr is not that of a static monument, but rather a living architectural creatures continuously shaped by environmental demands, for example, the raised flood guardrails, good restructuring of water retention systems due to drought,